I don't know what happened, but the moment that I saw you, I just felt something that I've never felt before.
Yes.
Ever. We both just knew.
It was just, she's it. That's the one for me.
People definitely tell me all the time, your mom is so sweet and she's so bubbly and she's always smiling. It comes across and it shines in every part of your life.
Oh, good.
I like being an only child. I felt like I got a lot of attention.
You did get a lot of attention.
I know. Made me confident.
I live with 4 girls. I also have a wife and a female dog. And guys, I'm 39 years old and I look like this, so there you go. But any of them got into trouble, the other 3 would be there for them all the time.
You mess with one, you mess with us all, and...
Yeah, there was one time I was afraid for myself.
You don't mess with the Pleva sisters.
Yes.
You know, I remember that before that day, I was so healthy. I only went to doctors once a year or whatever, never really got sick. And I got a call on my cell phone from the radiologist.
He sat me down, and of course I knew what was coming. I knew I was gonna hear, you have breast cancer.
Usually in China, a doctor doesn't tell the patient directly because they don't want patient to feel like hopeless.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a mammogram and an ultrasound in a room with all these women with pink gowns and being the only guy in the room, and
Your head
I was spinning.
Yeah.
I'm a tough guy, you know, or I thought I was.
I've been through so much at this point, I don't think I remember all the details. I think they just said it was malignant at that point.
And he said, Jamie, it looks like it's gonna be cancer.
That was a bad bet evening.
I remember very distinctly my life flashing before my eyes. I mean, immediately I started thinking that I really want to be around for my children getting married if they're going to have children.
And I wanted to be with you into old age. I remember thinking all those things.
I remember thinking, you know, we're not gonna be a brother and sister with breast cancer. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's.
I was the only one out of all of my friends that had been diagnosed with cancer, you know?
I was the only one of my friends that was diagnosed with breast cancer, too.
When you first told us, we were eating ice cream on the porch, and, you know, Angelique was in tears. I was fighting back tears, holding her.
It was harder to tell you two that I was diagnosed with breast cancer than it was to hear the words myself.
Just by the look that you gave me, I knew, John knew.
That's right, I didn't say anything because I didn't want the kids to know.
No, you didn't
That's
say
right,
anything,
I
but
forgot that
you
part.
nodded your head.
I think I just remember deciding to work very hard to not let it ruin everybody's Christmas. And I would have kept it to myself, but everybody knew the answer was coming, and I figured I couldn't fake it.
Do you remember the first time you actually heard about the grandma's breast cancer?
No one really ever told me about it, so I don't know. Yeah.
I don't even remember when I came to know.
The moment those words, I have cancer, came out of my mouth.
My heart just like dropped into my stomach.
It didn't quite register, and then when we were sitting there crying as it was setting in, it was, am I gonna lose my mom? And then it was, why was this happening? What's gonna happen to me and Andre? Are we gonna be orphans?
How come you don't like the term survivor?
I had a path, and I had a treatment plan, and of course I was gonna get through it. So what makes me a survivor? I says, I'm just gonna do this. Do you consider yourself a survivor?
I never thought about it like that.
You
I
weren't-
didn't feel
you never
like
got
mine
scared?
was as scary. I really kind of sailed through it, truthfully.
You weren't scared?
Oh, yes. I was petrified. I was petrified.
I didn't know how I was going to tell my wife because I knew it was going to totally disrupt our entire lives. And worse than that, I didn't know how I was going to tell my children.
I think that's why you called me.
You had been through so much. I just knew that you could calm my fears.
It's taken me a long time, not to get used to, but to face the fact that one of my daughters died of cancer, and while she was dying, another one found out that she had it.
When Tracy used to say she hated knowing that that her cancer diagnosis and what she was going through made us sad, I used to get mad at her and say, it doesn't make me sad. Stop saying that, I love you. When I was diagnosed and I had to turn around and say it to you and Mom, I hated seeing that I caused you guys pain, and I made you guys hurt, and I made you guys feel fear.
You lost both of your sisters, and you're a survivor. And what's it like for you to watch me now?
It's the worst thing I've ever been through. I mean, when I think about even just our journey, it breaks my heart because I just hate to see you have to go through anything, no less this.
What are you doing to cope?
I'm taking an antidepressant.
I don't think that's the answer. Well,
It's the truth.
I know.
I'm strong with everything except when it comes to you.
Yeah.
You know, I've always kept to myself. I've always kept my emotions to myself. I was just handling it myself the best way I could do it. And that was to get as much information and research and figure out what I needed to do.
You know, I was very sort of matter of fact and practical.
Right.
You know, what does this mean? Let's sort of calm you down. You know, let's just kind of find out what's going on and go from there.
You went above and beyond to make sure we were with the right doctor, with the right oncologist, with the right surgeon.
Maybe it's just sort of a classic male thing, but, you know, I'm taking care of things. I'm doing something to change the outcome. Gave me a sense of comfort.
Well, that was comforting for me because I just couldn't do it. I mean, I just couldn't do it.
I don't think anybody could handle or help me handle the emotional roller coaster I was on. I didn't really want most people around. I was very adamant with the boys because I didn't want them to see me going through that.
I feel like you were hiding your emotions. I mean, sometimes not knowing or hearing how the person is going through it makes you more worried.
I'm not keeping it from you. It's just, I feel like if I stay strong, I'll be strong.
After 9 years of battling breast cancer, Tracy was admitted to the hospital because we found out she had pneumonia and she was not doing well. The next week I was in having surgery.
That was the night that we started our journeys between the two daughters all the time.
You and Mom went back and forth. And neither of us were ever alone. And that's what matters.
We had no choice.
No, you have a
Because we wanted
choice.
to be there and we wanted to do it. I mean, whatever.
After you started the treatment, I saw how tired you were. I realized I had to do more around the house and just be there for you and Angelique and be strong.
You know, it's funny when you talk about you wanted to be strong and step up to the plate, but you were actually the one person that could always make me laugh.
I could tell that you were trying to stay emotionally calm because you knew I was a wreck inside, because you know me.
But I wish I would have known more of how to be there for you as a man diagnosed with breast cancer.
Of the two of us, I am typically the most emotional. And I think I'm not showing you my emotions sometimes because...
So it was okay holding it in? You didn't hold it in?
I gave it to other people. I didn't hold it in. I would never be able to have held it in. I'm just trying to be what you need me to be.
And I could see that you worked really hard to be
did.
strong for me. And that meant a lot to me.
You know, I wasn't very old, so it's not like I could do a whole lot to really do anything to help you. I just knew that I'm not what's important here. What's important is you.
We were going through this together, you know, so I just felt that it would be impossible not to be there.
I mean, the only times that you couldn't be there with me was when I was in the MRI machine, you know, or another mammo, whatever. It's like, but you were there as much as anyone could be.
We were together. It was as simple as that.
The surgeon looked at me and he said, no, there's no lumpectomies done here because you're a guy. And I said, my sisters told me that you could do a lumpectomy. And he says, well, your sister's wrong. Because in a guy, there's just not enough breast tissue to do a lumpectomy. We have to do a full mastectomy. And I said, well, what does that mean? He says, we're going to remove everything. And I said, including my nipple? And he said, yep, including your nipple. It's, those are hard memories.
I remember the night before the day Tracy died, and I came home from the hospital, and I walked in and I said, this isn't happening again. You're not gonna die. And that was it. And I don't know why I said it, but I meant it. You're not gonna die. Not on my watch, no way.
I mean, even when those days where I would try and give you a hug and show affection, and you just like, that hurts, and you just be just kind of not in it. But I just kind of had to let you handle it because I didn't know what to do anymore.
I didn't really want you guys to know I was in pain, but I think I should have. I think looking back that might have helped you more through the process if when I sat on the floor and cried, that maybe you came and sat on the floor and cried with me.
We all go through our thing with this, you know. Mine was I felt that maybe you didn't think I was there enough for you.
I think being able to check your emotions and then come to me together, feeling put together, I mean, and come up and help with the kids and the dog and listen to me when I was weighing this doctor over that doctor and never not picking up the phone ever. Where if I said, come up, you would.
We want to come up even when you don't want to.
Exactly.
Hello.
Go home now.
Most people, when they see someone going through cancer, especially a young woman facing it, a lot of times it's their mother, it's the best friend, it's the sister who was their support. And I don't think many people hear the story of the dad and what he feels and what he does and what he goes through. You did so much for me that most fathers will never have to do or go through. You took me to the hospital to have my eggs retrieved.
That was a very surreal day.
And I remember you coming in and saying, today I'm helping one daughter say goodbye and bring an end to her life and help another daughter secure her future. Because we had to go to Tracy's funeral right afterwards.
The support and the love that I got from you and your circle of friends and their parents and, you know, having the girls come over and spend the night with you, and it just made me feel that life was still going on and to see that positive energy. Everybody was so loving, so.
The interesting thing with breast cancer is people just find their way in anyway. So even though I'm not a naturally reaching out kind of a person.
Right.
I've had girlfriends and friends, close and even not so close, just decide that they were gonna come in and help me or be there or go out for lunch or grab a coffee.
When you were going through your issues with breast cancer, I feel looking backwards, I was a terrible support. I mean, I know that I should have and could have done more, and I didn't.
We talked all the time, and you called me, you know, like almost every day or a couple times a day. And honestly, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like you weren't there for me.
I think you could have used more help, but you have that,
Probably.
I can do it, I'll do it.
Well, I wanted to do it.
I know you did, but you really do need to lean on other people outside your immediate family, like just for things to do things, not even necessarily emotional support.
I would probably reach out more if I did this again.
Really?
I've gotten better. You don't believe me. I don't know.
If you're happy, you need to share with somebody. If you're sad, also, like recently, I have to share a lot of my thoughts with my, with daddy. I just cannot imagine I can live without family.
I think a lot of illness has a great deal of stigma to it. and
Right.
people are afraid and they don't want to talk about it.
I didn't want to tell my friends. I was embarrassed to tell my friends. You're not only living with the fear of cancer and potentially death, but you're living with this embarrassment. You know, I'm lopsided. I only have one breast. When I finally told my friends, you know, my closest group of friends, they nicknamed me OT for one tit, you know, and they thought that that was funny, you know.
Well,
they
it's
can
their
make
way
light
of
of it.
dealing with something that they felt so uncomfortable with.
Right. They didn't know how to deal with it, so they used humor. Or they avoided me altogether, which was even worse.
Even though I've been dealing with the cancer for the last 6, 7 months, I think right about now I'm in a place where I think it's hitting me in terms of being worried. I think I was not worried. Even with the diagnosis, even with the chemotherapy, I wasn't worried. And I think in some way the chemotherapy was comforting.
Yep.
It sounds ridiculous, but
No.
I think going every week and having that
Yeah.
treatment meant I was getting taken care of, and that felt good in a, you know, outside of making me
Right,
sick.
they're taken care
But
of.
now that it's over, I feel maybe I didn't get enough. Maybe I should have been stronger. And
When you go through this, there's so many parts of it that feel like you don't have any control.
But I think doing something made me feel stronger, made me feel more stable emotionally. I remember that when you had radiation, you know, at least the first few times that you went, that it was really important for you to look good, to, you know, wear a nice pair of shoes, to
The
be
pair of
dressed up.
shoes that I wore a lot to radiation. It was these beautiful pair of, you know, just high-heeled shoes. And I think that I got dressed up and kind of decked out because looking my best made me feel like I had some sort of control.
Chemotherapy is a very lonely part of life, going through that treatment.
Right.
And you can't explain, like Donna used to say to me, well, what hurts, what bothers you? And you can't put verbiage to it. It's just an overall horrible, horrific feeling. You can feel your body being torn apart by these drugs.
I can't sit around crying, you know. That's the thing. It's not just that I couldn't, and I don't resent that. That almost sounds like I couldn't just, but if I could, I would. And I don't think I would.
No, I don't either.
I don't want to feel sad, and I don't want to let it get the best of me.
I just had to hope and keep my fingers crossed that I was going to, because I didn't want to hurt you guys any more than you already hurt. And I didn't want you guys to feel another loss. Every day I always feel it. Losing Tracy was obviously very hard, and I'm so afraid to go and deal with it because I'm afraid that I'm never gonna come out of it. And I don't think I'm ever gonna forgive myself for being here when she's not.
If anybody should feel guilty, it's me, not you. I'm the one that carried the gene. I'm not taking responsibility for the gene. I had no choice over that. My mother died of cancer, 2 of her sisters died of breast cancer. What's upsetting me is they had a false diagnosis on me also. It turned out to be a cancerous polyp, but they caught it in time. There was no chemo, there was no radiation. It was, Ted, hey, we caught it, you're lucky.
What bothers me the most about going through everything I've gone through is the fact that I may have passed this down to Matt and Jamie. As a parent, to me, is the worse than me going through it.
When I first told you I was a carrier of the BRCA2 gene mutation.
You said, well, you could be carrying the BRCA2 gene as well.
But you didn't really listen to me.
No, I listened very carefully. But when I finally got tested, it was post-cancer, post-surgery, post-chemotherapy. I still remember the genetics doctor walking in and handing me the paper saying, well, I guess we found out what you already knew. I said, yep, I already knew.
Right.
And I was hoping you weren't going to say, I told you so.
No, I wouldn't say I told you so. I remember our conversation, though.
And now I'm having the same discussion with my own boys because I want them to get tested.
Were you worried about yourself? Like
Yeah, I mean, I still am worried because I know that it can
the
be
history, family history of this,
right,
yeah,
family
yeah.
history. But you know, it touches everybody.
Yeah.
Even though my sisters both had the breast cancer. We did not have the gene, as you know.
Yeah.
But I really never thought you would get cancer. Which was lucky for me, really,
Yeah,
because I didn't
tend to be a
worry
bit of a
my whole
worrier.
life.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. But you were always so healthy and strong and took care of what you ate and everything.
Yeah, I was a little surprised myself.
I know.
30 years of running and eating so well and being a vegetarian, fat lot of good it did me.
We've been married almost 20 years. Be 20 years in January.
Thank you for reminding me.
Do you feel that this has brought us closer?
We were pretty close even before this happened. I would say even at that point, compared to a lot of people, pretty darn close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did it have any kind of, impacts or effect
you know,
on your love for me?
In reality,
Yeah, be real.
no. No, it didn't.
You looked at me, and I still felt beautiful, even though I was bald. I felt beautiful because you embraced my low head and would rub it and just make me laugh.
You're always beautiful, no matter what.
I love you. You're the best.
Not having hair makes me a recognizable
survivor.
They're easily identifiable, and it's been amazing how many women will just give me a wink or a nod or a hand on the shoulder, or this just happened last week. The woman said, "You look beautiful with that hairstyle," and I said, "It's not really a hairstyle. I didn't choose it." And she said, "I know," and she said, "But you're wearing it so well," and just on how. It feels nice to be a part of such a big club, and it's okay if you call it. You have to have a name for it, right?
Yes.
So.
Were you ever concerned that I would find you less beautiful because of the treatments that you had, what you went through?
Well, that question is going to make me cry. It is making me cry because I never had that concern ever about you. Because that's who you are, David. Had I just gone bald and just stayed bald, I am just 100% confident that you would not have felt that way. It would have been more how I was feeling about myself.
In a way, you guys saved my life. Because I was strong, because I had my family. You guys are the ones who came in and said, "You can do this. I love you. It's gonna be okay." That's why I was strong. I had you. I had Mom. I had my sisters.
I know sometimes it seems like I don't get it, and sometimes I am really caught up in the moment. But watching you go through what you went through and how you fought through it, it really made me take a step back and realize how important life is and how important it is being here with you. And I love being here with you, and I love doing things with you.
I think now is the time to figure out how to spend the rest of my years, however many I have, not being worried.
Right.
So that's the new challenge, because I don't want to live being worried.
As a two-time cancer patient, you live differently. You look at things differently. I go for my 6-month mammogram, my 6-month MRI, and I try not to think about it until the day or two before it.
Right. We live our life in 6-month intervals.
Right.
Because we need to know that
It's a
we're
hard
clean.
way to live, but it's the way, I deal with it.
The one thing about you, Tracy,
Jamie.
I mean, you, see, there I go. If you weren't as strong as you were, I wouldn't have been able to handle it as well as I try to handle it. So, I mean, if anything, I want to thank you for being strong.
The fact that you brought your mother to live with us when we were so young, and you just always do the right thing, and you know that what's important, and you don't let anything else kind of get in the way.
You're a wonderful woman, a wonderful daughter, and a wonderful mother. And you've dealt with this so well. And I'm very, very, very proud of you.
I don't know, I think I've gone along thinking I was doing a good job and being fairly proud of myself the way I've been handling it, but
Yep.
who stops to tell you that along the way? And I think I didn't really know what you were thinking about my performance, as it were. That means a lot. Not sure I would have thought it would mean as much to me as it does.
You were my information source. You were my stronghold. You were there to guide me.
There's a bond above brother and sister. There's a cancer bond.
Right.
You're my first phone call after I walk out of my mammogram.
Ditto.
Whenever I felt like giving up, I would just think of the two of you and say, no, I'm not going anywhere.
I feel like it made us stronger as a family.
And shoot, I want to see some grandbabies too. Well, yeah, down the line. But I plan to be here.
Sometimes I feel like you're so hurt by losing Tracy that you forget that I'm still here. And that even though we're upset we lost her, I made it, and I feel like sometimes I want to be celebrated or to take part in something. And that's why this means so much that you actually agreed to do this.
And that's why I'm here.
You know, we didn't talk about how we were behaving.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is one of the few times where it's just the two of us.
They all should do one of these.
I think so.
I do feel thankful, and I feel thankful for you, Mom.
And I'm so thankful for you.
I'm glad I have you now and always. Yeah. You're my best friend.
My heart is near, my love has gone away. And tell me true, my heart is new, my love has gone away. It's okay, I know someday I'm gonna be with you. It's okay, I know someday